Hello and welcome to 30 Inks, 30 Days, Week 2. This is Addie, and this week we have a selection of blue inks and different fountain pens. I'm glad you're here. Let's get started. On day 8, I am using a Fountain Pen Revolution Guru with a 5.5 Ultra Flex nib with Ferris Wheel Press 3 Steamboats. It's a lovely blue color. My husband was kind enough to buy for me early on in my fountain pen ink collecting era. It shades very well in flex pens and is also not too dark, reads very blue. I really like this color. This pen is one that I use in my planner for categorizing tasks that I need to do related to my son's school or other activities. So I always keep this color inked in this pen pretty much all the time. I could eventually find a different blue I want to put in it, but for now I'm happy with this one. And I also have a bottle of it. So I want to use it up. These Ferris Wheel Press bottles are beautiful, but the most anxiety-inducing creations possibly ever. The tipping potential for these is off the charts. Gorgeous, but pretty much completely terrifying when uncapped. That's Ferris Wheel Press 3 Steamboats. Beautiful, sky blue, consistent, well-performing ink. One of my favorites. For day 9, the ink is Colorverse Dokdo, a nice blue-green that I'm using in my Pilot Falcon with a soft, extra fine nib. You can see here how the Falcon just has sort of a unique shape with the curve. And it does have a slight amount of flex. It's not technically a flex nib, but it does offer some line variation. I'm not very used to extra fine nibs, however. So that's been a little bit of a learning curve, but I'm still sort of experimenting with it. The quote for today is from Good Omens by Terry Pratchett. Really good book, funny. I enjoyed the show a lot too. I thought the acting was great. I was surprised they had a second season because that went beyond the scope of the book, but I think they did a great job with it. So that's day 9, Colorverse, Dokdo in a Pilot Falcon, soft, extra fine, very nice teal blue ink that has performed well in any pen I've put it in and on most types of paper. It's a good one. For day 10, I am using my Jinhau X159 that has a Fude nib, which if you aren't familiar, it's bent like this in order to offer the ability to do line variation depending on what angle you're holding the pen at. If you hold it up high or you reverse it, it'd be a thin line, and if you hold it flatter or closer to the paper, it'd be a thicker line. They're nice for art. The ink I'm using today is Troublemaker Abalone, which is a multi-chromatic ink with shades of blue, purple, gray that really comes out in broader nib pens, like this Fude nib. Here you can really see how the angle of the Fude nib can make a wide line. The quote for today is from Eleanor Shellstrop in The Good Place. I'm pretty sure I've had multiple sits of doubting in my life. We can start to see the multiple colors in the writing sample, but you'll really be able to see it more with the swatch. In this swatch, this is where you'll start seeing the purple and the blue and how they mixed to form the color that can come across as gray, but it's a multi-chromatic shader. A little touchy in some pens, but I still really like it. And welcome to day 11, my day of mistakes and boo-boos. This is a Gravitas Pocket Pen with a titanium flex nib. I don't know what kind of pocket pen this is because I bought it secondhand and it wasn't in the listing and I forgot to ask. And now I just feel silly contacting them to find out. So it's a mystery. The ink that I am using is Aurora Turquoise, a well-behaved medium blue. Even though I don't know what material this pen is made out of, I do know that the flex nib is titanium and I can very much tell a difference between that and steel. This is also my very first pocket pen, and I'd have to say it's one of my most comfortable pens to write with. So mistakes. Did the date out of order, as you can see here, and also misspelled turquoise. Even though I know how to spell it, I just wrote it wrong. Technically, because in the quote from Groundhog Day should just be cause, but yeah, it's all right. For day 12, I'm using a Fountain Pen Revolution Himalaya version 2 Ultra Flex. The ink is Birmingham Pen Company's Scuttlebutt. This is one of their newer inks. It is a greenish blue color, more blue than green. I feel like Birmingham Pen Company inks can have this moodiness to them, and this one does as well. The quote that I end up writing on this page is an inside joke. One of the people I play World of Warcraft with has a character named Scuttlebutt, and I am friends with him and his partner. This is a quote from her about how easy a meal kit would be to make. I like them a lot. When the ink came out, I joked with them that it was made just for him since he plays a blue bear named Scuttlebutt. This ink has a beautiful tone, a halo effect, and nice shading, plus blue bear points, so it gets a huge thumbs up from me. And on to day 13. For this day, I use the Fountain Pen Revolution Jaipur version 2 with an Ultraflex nib. And the ink is Wearingeul's Lost, which is also, I consider, a chromo shader with greens and a gray and blue. This is one of my favorite flex pens. I have two of these and I use both of them on almost a daily basis. I find that they write smoothly, They don't really give me very many issues, and the flex is enough that I can get good line variation, but I don't feel like I have to write slowly necessarily. Most inks work in them pretty well. Wearingeul Lost is a heavy shader. There are sections where the shading gets so light it's almost difficult to read, but it's such a big contrast that if you're into shading inks, it's a very good one to try out. For day 14, we have the most special pen in my collection, the Kaku by Nahvalur Urushi with a Regalia Writing Labs Cross Flex nib. This nib is amazing, is all I can say. And scary, but also amazing. The ink is pretty impressive too. It is Diamine's Majestic Blue, which has a heavy pink sheen that's very easy to see in most pens, even those with finer nibs. So I was saying that the Fountain Pen Revolution Jaipur was easy to work with and that I could write quickly with it, even though it was a flex pen. The Regalia Writing Labs nib is so very flexible that it requires a lot of control and it requires you to slow down. And if you have patience with it, it writes beautifully and makes beautiful letters. And if you don't have patience, it's very easy to get into trouble. I've had this bottle of Majestic Blue for at least 10 years, and I'm really not sure why I don't use it more. I think I forgot about it, for one, and then I think I forgot that it sheened like it does. And once it dries, it doesn't smear like some sheening inks do. You can see some of the control issues with the Nahvalur with the small writing. That's kind of what I'm talking about. The Fountain Pen Revolution is very easy to write with fine letters, but I'm sure I just need a lot more practice. Well, I'm really happy with this week. I wasn't really intending on picking all of my favorite blue inks, but I might have done it anyway. And there are so many beautiful blue fountain pen inks out there, almost too many, but all of the ones I chose have shading or they outline or the sheen. So I didn't really have a frustrating experience with any of these. I think I really liked how the Gravitas wrote with the Aurora Turquoise in it. I was really happy with Scuttlebutt because this was the first time I'd ever used it. I have my normal issues, the Pilot Falcon and it being such a fine nib. And I had some issues with the Nahvalur because I have not practiced with the nib as much as some of the other ones, and I'm just not used to it. But I can't say that I had a very negative experience with any of them. It was a great week for me. So I hope you enjoyed the colors. I'd love to hear what kind of blues you like or which one of these would be your favorite. And as always, I appreciate you stopping by and hanging out till the end. I do hope I'll see you again soon. Have a great week. Bye for now.